Call the regular meeting of the March 27th Council of Township of Hampton to order. Let's all do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
under indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Blackburn? Ms. Fritsch?
Present.
Mr. Midgley?
Present.
Mr. Shuley?
Present.
Dr. Johnson?
Present.
Mr. Speakman?
Present.
Ms. Blackburn is excused from this evening's meeting. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. First item on the agenda is, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting held Wednesday, February 28th, 2024, and the special and agenda meetings held March 13th, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Fritsch?
Present.
Mr. Midgley?
You just move it.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Shuley?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor. All right, next item on the agenda is citizens' agenda matters. If anyone has anything that they would like to address to council, please step to the microphone and state your name and address and your concern.
Hello, my name's Al Whirling, lifelong resident of Hampton Township. I live at 2885 Talakavy Road. The last time I was here, I remember hearing that there was not a big tax increase, and to some people that sounds great. To me, I'm waiting for the other boot to drop. And the thing I wanted to bring up is we're getting the agenda in blue and black and white, and it's only printed on one side. Are we going to be able to go back to the olden ways? Because I'm going to be here.
You're going to
as
have
long
to
as I
clarify
can.
what you mean by old ways.
When the agenda was printed on both sides of the paper.
Black and white, two-sided. Yes, I'll talk to her.
I'm certainly in favor of that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rowling. Does anyone else have anything that they would like to address to council? If so, please step to the microphone. Right. I see no one walking up to the microphone, so I'm going to assume no one else has anything that they'd like to address. Before we get to administration, I'm taking my prerogative to move the presentation for No Shave November to be the next item on the agenda. If we could please proceed with that.
Okay, I know in the past that Sergeant Kersop and my officers have been here to do this presentation for No Shave November. As council's aware, and the staff and probably some of the people in the audience, that the officers are allowed to violate our policy of being clean shaven in exchange for donating money every month that they can wear the beards. And in the past, that money that has been raised since we've started it 3 years ago, donations have gone to the Mrs. Claus Club, the McGee Women's Foundation, Aiden's Helping Hands, and Liam Christopher's Music Fund. So tonight, we have a special presentation because we extended the No Shave November to raise even more money. And tonight, we have a presentation that we would like to give to a little girl, Kaylee Mans. If Kaylee and her family would come up here, that would be great. So, as you're aware, the officers try to find individuals, families, or groups that need the money to help them through difficult times. In this particular case, Kaylee Mans was brought to our attention, and Kaylee was diagnosed with leukemia, I believe, 2 years ago. No? And so she is dealing with everything that revolves around dealing with leukemia. And her parents are doing everything that they can to make sure that Kaylee gets the best of care. So what we decided to do was make the donation for the No Shave to them for this time. And what we have, and what I want to clarify first before we present this, is that there are the officers that grow the beards. There are some who donate and don't grow the beards. And we have people like our manager and our assistant manager and other people on staff that actually, just out of the kindness of their heart, open up the wallets and put in even though they don't want to grow beards, especially since some are women. So, okay? So what we did over the past 2 months is raise $2,000 for you guys. And it is made out to Austin and Carly, your mom. All right? And that's going to help you make sure that you get the best of everything. Okay? And we also have something just for you, because I know that there's things that mean more than money to you. So, and our social worker, Angela, she has something she's going to bring in. That is for you. Okay. So we'll present this check to you. Hold on to that. Can't take that one to the bank, but you can take this one. Very welcome. Okay? So, you all want the best for
All right. Thank you to Kaylee and the Mance family for being here this evening, and thank you to our police department, everyone who contributed to this fund.
We're going to try to get a little picture together, okay? I'll move down here.
Yeah. Oh, we've got some guests.
So these are some of the officers that participated in it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Squeeze in there.
Here.
Hank, you're going to participate next year. Or Harry. Hank.
Thank you very much.
Special one. Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Okay. You guys will walk off with the check. Let's take a photo. All right. Let us know how things go, okay? Okay, take care. Welcome. You guys will stay in?
Awesome, glad that we're able to
Yeah.
do this. Good stuff. That's all I got.
That's really sweet.
All right. Thank you to our officers for coming in this evening also for that.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to administration. Item A, please.
Yes, the township, as any municipality that receives state aid for pension, is required to have legal counsel under contract or in-house, which would always be under contract, who can give legal advice relative to amendments or any changes in state pension law. GTN informed us that the lawyer they used for this previously has retired. We were soliciting proposals. We received one proposal from Campbell Durant. They are the premier public sector labor relations firm in this state. On a professional level, I can tell you I've worked with Campbell Durant in the past on amendments to pension plans. I can vouch for their expertise and professionalism in this area. This proposal will be awarded similar to how we do other professional services, which is based on the hourly rates included in it. I don't expect this to be any type of large legal expense in any given year, much less over 10 to 20 years even. So with that, I would make a recommendation that we award a proposal for pension-related legal services to Campbell Durant. Yeah.
All right, did anyone have any questions related to this? All right, then can I get a motion to award the contract for pension-related legal services to Campbell Durant per the manager's recommendation and memo dated March 21st, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Midgley,
Favor.
Mr. Sholey,
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch,
Favor.
Dr. Johnson.
Favor. All right, item B, please.
Yeah. The change order before you tonight is related to the flood mitigation project that everyone's probably seen at the intersection of Wildwood Sample Road and Sample Road. If you've been by there recently, you've probably seen a pavilion that went up. The site is taking shape more and more. The change order in question is for $21,500. I did verify that amount with PVE and with the contractor as well. The additional cost is for replacing a vegetated backwater channel with a stone line channel because there were issues with water ponding on the site. The total increase in cost of $21,500 is just 4.3% of the overall project value, which was $496,000. So it's my recommendation that we approve a change order for the Pine Creek Flood Mitigation, Stream Restoration, and Buffer Enhancement Project.
All right, did anyone have any questions about this?
Most of that was paid for through a grant. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yeah. The township received a grant from DEP in the amount of close to $421,000. So yes,
So the total cost is 100 less.
little. Yeah, I was going to say a little. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
less than 100.
All right, any other questions? And can I get a motion to approve the change order for the Pine Creek Flood Mitigation, Stream Restoration, and Buffer Enhancement Project in the amount of $21,500 per the manager's recommendation and the memo from BJC Enterprises dated January 23rd, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Sholey,
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch,
Favor.
Mr. Midgley,
Favor.
Dr. Johnson.
Favor. Right, next item, please.
Yes, before you tonight's the approval of a settlement with Wildwood Golf Club regarding their assessed valuation of their property. The reason this was triggered in 2020, the county reassessed the property. Sorry, 2022, the county reassessed the property due to some improvements they made at their facility. It led to the assessment going from $3.4 million to $5.9 million. That was immediately challenged by the golf club. Through negotiations with the school district's legal counsel and representatives of Wildwood, both sides settled on assessed valuations of a little over $4.3 million in 2023 and $3.9 million in 2024. The school district previously approved this assessment appeal at their board meeting in February. The township, the one point I would make is the assessed value of the property is going up $500,000 in aggregate, but there will be a refund due to the 2023 taxes of about $5,000. So with large commercial appeals, they generally come to council just for consensus and approval. So with that, and I don't know if GTN had anything to add on this in particular. Bailey was kind of the point of contact.
Right, she's handling our tax appeals. Typically, the township takes a second seat to the school district in dealing with these. They incur the majority of the appraisal fees and the attorney fees, and we typically, either give our blessing or what have you. And they recommend these values. We recommend these values. It seems fair and reasonable, and we concur in recommending that you approve that settlement.
For argument's sake, what if we all said no? What happens? It goes back to the courts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you're entirely at the will of what
Right.
that court may be. And you're seeing, obviously, right now, downtown and in other areas,
Right.
what the assessment appeals are bringing. So, an appeal that overall raises the value of the assessed property, I kind of walk away with a win on that one.
The numbers are reasonable. They
Yeah,
are.
Yep.
yeah.
What was the total amount of improvements they did? Do we know?
The total value of the improvements,
2 million.
yeah, it was about 2 million.
Bit over 2.
And then
And-
immediately the school district came in.
Right.
Thank
And
you.
unfortunately, those
Reassessment.
improvements don't always
Right.
warrant. We try. We've
Right.
tried many
Yeah.
places, and you think if they put in 2 million, you're going to get the commensurate, but you don't.
So just so I'm following, so then,
They were very internal. You know, there were no structural improvements.
yeah.
Pickleball courts, a couple things like that, but they did a lot of work inside, redoing the restaurant, bar area, and everything like
They
that.
did
So
some reno. The county immediately came in, reassessed, raised it like 2 something.
Yeah.
And then appeal, and we settled about 500 more.
Yeah.
So we'll have the refund for the, okay,
Yes.
makes sense. Got it.
Yeah.
Right, any other questions? Then can I get a motion to approve the settlement with Stone Lodge Inc. regarding a tax assessment appeal for the manager's recommendation, a memo dated March 7th, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Fritsch? Favor. Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Sholey?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor. All right, next item, please.
Yeah, the next item before you is a resolution establishing the engineering service rates for KLH Engineering for 2024. KLH has served as township sanitary engineer since the 1990s. The rates before you today reflect a 4% increase over 2023. So with that, I recommend adoption of a resolution.
All right, does anyone have any questions?
That's annual.
Yes.
It's every.
Yeah, every year this will come back before council. Yes.
It usually comes back in the December or January meeting. This was a little late.
Yeah.
Do we have a resolution number?
1100.
Can I get a motion to adopt resolution 1100, establishing the 2024 engineering service rates for KLH?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Sholey?
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch? Favor. Dr. Johnson?
Favor. All right, the next item on the agenda is the North Hills Council of Governments report. Not surprisingly, the COG as a whole has not met our minimum salt requirements for base year 1 this last year, but the executive director is working with Morton Salt for either a possible extension or possibly waiving of the storage fees, but that is tentative. We can expect to receive a request soon for our salt needs for base year 2, which starts September 1st. The COG finally received a statement of work from the Army Corps of Engineers for the Pine Creek Watershed Project, so it will be discussed at the next Stormwater Management Committee meeting. But the township can expect to receive a request to update the maps for our conservation districts if we've not already received that. There was also some discussion about consolidated terminating services. Apparently, it's only the TV service that they are terminating. They are going to continue with the telephone and internet services. And there are a few Hampton customers that are affected, but not all that many. And finally, the North Hills COGS Equipment Vendor Show will be Thursday, June 6th at the Ross Township Public Works facility. And this year it's going to be a joint effort with the American Public Works Association. So if you're able to attend, everyone is welcome. Next item, Water Authority monthly report. Anything to add or any? Sorry, go ahead, Jerry.
Could you repeat the salt?
Yes, did I cut out?
Nope.
Simply saying that the COG as a whole, not surprisingly, has not met the minimum salt requirements for base year 1. So the executive director is working with Morton Salt to see if we can possibly get an extension on the orders or possibly waive the storage fees through December, but that is tentative. And we should expect a request soon for our salt needs for next year, starting September 1st.
Well, the contract year's not up, so that sounds premature to me.
Are you hoping we're going to get a blizzard?
Well, no, but from our perspective, we will acquire what we submitted as our minimum. and store it. So, but your
So-
point is the COG as a whole, but the COG as a whole still has
Yes.
6 months to go before the end of that contract period.
No, the end of the contract period is August.
5 months.
Okay, 5 months.
So about 5 months.
Yeah.
But if we don't use the salt, if we haven't used enough salt between December and the end of March, I don't think that I'm hoping we're not going to use that much in April or May. The COG as a whole, that is.
But you can still buy it. You can
Yes.
buy it and store it.
You can buy it and store it, but not all the municipalities have the option to store it. All right. Any other questions? All right. Water Authority monthly report. Anything to add or any questions? All right. Engineers monthly report.
Nothing to add unless there's questions.
Doesn't seem so. Legal counsel monthly report.
I have nothing to add, but happy to answer any questions.
Does not appear that there are any. Thank you. Controllers monthly report. Anything to add, Jerry?
Not much, still very early in the year. Revenues are a bit ahead of budget and of the same period from last year by about 115,000. 70,000 of that is in earned income. I will throw up a caution light on deed transfer, especially since we received the February numbers, which is the lowest monthly that we have received since 2019 in February. So don't know what forebodes in the housing market. That may be an account that we will have to watch and monitor. On the expense side, we're pretty much in line with budget. Expenses are up for the year over the same period last year, but that was largely due to buybacks from retirements and from increases in salaries and benefits.
Jerry, did you say that was the worst February in 5 years or the worst month in 5 years?
The worst month,
Oh, February is typically the slowest.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still the worst.
But it
Month.
compares back to February
Yeah.
in 2019 was the last time that we received less than what we did.
Yeah.
Just to keep an eye on it. We'll watch it.
Hopefully the spring market picks up.
April will be great.
Well,
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
and what's not factored into it is the new development. So with new construction, Windmont and whatever else comes along, that could be in addition to what the normal market is.
All right. Anything else? All right. Information technology monthly report. Anything to add or any questions? All right. And I have nothing to add to the library report unless there are questions. All right. Moving on to public safety. We've already handled item A. So item B, please, Chief.
I would like Angela and her team to step up to do their yearly report for council.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to start off by saying it's getting more difficult to fit everything, all the accomplishments of 1 year into one small presentation, so we did our best. But myself, I'm the senior police social worker, Angela. This is Ashley Wilson. She's the social service coordinator that was hired on last May. Just starting off by reminding everybody of what our role and our mission is, and our role is to connect the residents within the Hampton Township community to any type of social or therapeutic services. So to continue to improve the functioning and address the needs as they fluctuate throughout the year. Okay, so this is our statistics for this year. So in 2020, when I started as an intern, we were at 189, and you can see it's almost doubling every year. So this year by far has the most interactions at 543 interactions this year. And that is between myself, Ashley, and our intern, which I am going to introduce throughout the presentation. So that is, it's a lot. So it's been a busy year. If you go to the next slide, these are all the types of interactions. I know that's kind of small for everybody to see, but I wanted to point out the top three, which is mental health, the elderly population, and juvenile. So those are the ones that are currently consuming most of our caseload right now and are a large part of those numbers. So within those 543 interactions, that's where the majority of them are. Mental health is always coming in at the top one. Currently, right now with our caseload, as in 2024, end of March, we have about 80, I think it's 83 open cases right now between the three of us. So I am going to guess that that number is going to be pretty high at the end of this year as well. So, yes. So, and I also want to say too is that that those types of interactions fluctuate as well within the needs in the community, but consistently over these past 4 years, the mental health in the juveniles has stayed pretty consistent as far as when it comes to services, both social and therapeutic, and that does overflow into the school district, and we work frequently with the school district and Carl, the school resource officer. So within that, the roles and services, we do a lot. So our job title definitely ranges. When people ask us what our typical day is, I can no longer answer that. Our top priority is crisis intervention and de-escalation, being able to co-respond with the police officers within the department. But at this point, we successfully get a large amount of self-referrals and walk-ins to the department pretty regularly. With our constant communication with whether it's the school district, code enforcement, the magistrate, EMS, we have a pretty solid referral system in place now, so we're getting regular referrals from all of the collaborations and networking. What else is on there? Yeah, so, and short-term counseling is still, we still try to maintain that as much as possible, but we are very busy and we have to thoroughly explain to the residents that we can be called out at any time. A crisis takes priority, so we are trying to refer out as many residents as possible. Touch base on some accomplishments throughout the year. So this picture was taken, we participated in Slippery Rock University's internship and job fair. This is where we try to recruit students to come over into the police social work environment. So we were able to participate in that. I think one of the biggest things that I want to highlight on is being able to have Ashley as a part-time social services coordinator. It's been a huge help to me in helping maintain the caseload. Being able, I have a pretty strict rule that we follow up with referrals within 48 hours, and we've been able to maintain that consistently throughout the year. So that's a huge accomplishment. We have supervised an intern, so this is Maria. She's going to speak at the end, so you'll get to know her a little bit and what she's done throughout her internship. But she's been with us since August, and anywhere from 16 to 25 hours a week, so she's been a huge help with us as well. And with the interns, we also, here at Hampton Police Department, we have a lot of additional individuals coming through the police department, whether it's shadowing under me, training under us, helping other police departments in their expansion and hiring in the hiring process. So this year, the Borough of Baldwin hired on a full-time police social worker. Samantha Ewell is her name. She's been there for about 7 or 8 months now. Cranberry Township is currently hiring. We just sent over about 9 candidates for them to start the interviewing process, so they have implemented the position officially and will be hiring in the next couple months. Scott Township is currently in the process, and I'll touch base on expansion a little bit further in the presentation, but one of the biggest collaborations that we have is when I started back in 2020, when there weren't many police social workers around, I collaborated a lot with the Bureau of Lancaster, the city of Lancaster, and they had a police social work position that was implemented in 2019, so not too much further ahead than my role began, but we continue, so every year I either go and shadow her or she comes up. That's Grace in the top picture, and we consistently stay in touch and debrief and continue to use the same foundation, although her jurisdiction is much larger than ours, but we still run on the basis of the same foundation. So she comes and visits frequently, and we do a lot of trainings together. She will actually be presenting with us in an upcoming conference in May. And Haley in the bottom picture is one of the interns that interned with me back in 2020. She got to get her selfie with Rob in that picture. And we have a lot of, although the general consensus for police social workers is somebody who has obtained a master's degree of social work, I do allow those that are in their undergraduate program or even students from Hampton High School to come and shadow to try to open their minds on the career path too. So we've had a couple Hampton students that are currently applying for colleges that have the forensic track, so they can follow through with police social work, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna have Ashley talk about Police Week at Play Camp.
Yeah, these are some really cool things that we got to do over the summer. We did, so Play Camp that runs at the community center asked us to come and host a week, and it was Police Appreciation Week, so we decided to make that our week to go and do all these presentations for the kiddos. We talked about the importance of social workers and what we do as police social workers. We brought in some therapy dogs, and you can see them in the top corner picture there. Those are friends of ours who brought their little therapy dogs, and they did like a little photo booth with the kiddos, and they could decorate their picture frame, and it was a giant hit. Super successful.
They want us to come back next year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we thought it was pretty cool. And then Chief and the detective had come and played a game with the kids where they solved a little crime. So that was like a timed event. So the first person to solve the puzzles was the winner. And then those winners won a tour of the police department, which was pretty cool. And then we also had the kids make hugs, just like little cutouts that they colored and wrote a little nice message on for some elderly residents in the community, and we delivered those to a nursing home for them.
And that picture down below, we have that banner hanging up in the police department, and that's Kursoff. You can't really see him in that, but they requested that he was in the picture, and that is all they outlined their handprints and said thank you for your service and signed their names. So we have that hanging at the police department. Every year I try to do some type of thank you so they can get more familiar with the police department and, you know, who's there to protect them in their community. So
yeah,
they love it.
Yeah, that's a super important thing for us to build that connection and rapport between the community and officers. Okay, so this was, I don't know if we talked about this last year, but this is my internship project, was the spring cleaning drive. So we competed, Hampton Police Department and McCandless Police Department did a little friendly competition where we raised or donated cleaning supplies for North Hills Community Outreach, who we work with almost every day at this point. We're always contacting them. So they do their own spring clean event, so we had collected items for that. And so the department that collected the most items was the winner, and then we also had incentives for our officers as well. I think they did it at McCandless too, so each officer that donated got to enter a raffle, and then they won gift cards. So this was a really cool thing that we got to do, and we won.
Yeah, we won, not McCandless.
And we got to donate all these awesome supplies for outreach.
Yeah, it was cool. Ashley came up with that, and it was neat to see the neighboring departments work together to get all those resources. So, I think think the biggest thing of the year, which I loved and I appreciate every single one of you that took part of it, was the holiday toy drive. This year was the first year that we handled it this way, where we had 27 families within the Township of Hampton, and those are just, let me point out, those are only children or families that are on our caseload, so that we're aware of. But we were able to fully sponsor 27 families and be able to give them gifts for each of their children, not only the children, but the parents or the guardians of that family, that household as well. Within that 27 families, there was 18 Hampton staff members that took up the role of sponsoring a family. So we were able to, you can see in the picture, that is back in our fingerprinting room where everybody volunteered time to help wrap all the presents. We have an forensic interview room in the police department. It was floor to ceiling with gifts for the kids. That's the picture on the right there, or it barely fit. It was awesome. And in the middle, I had to cover for confidentiality, but this is a particular individual on our caseload who was a reoccurring caller at the police department, has some special needs that we have been actively working with him for some time. We have a really good rapport with him, and we've been able to see him grow as an individual and get the services that he needs. He has officially moved out of Hampton into a residential treatment facility where he's thriving and he's doing awesome. But he was a huge fan of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and between us and the chief and some other staff members, we were able to get together Penguin tickets for him, and he got to go. He enjoyed the game. He went on March 14th. They won. He got to meet the announcers. He had special seats. So I do want to thank the staff members who put that together for him, because he calls us almost daily and thanks us.
Yeah, I was going to say, he also called to thank us and thank everybody.
Yes, and
that was really cool.
Yeah, so we went and we delivered the tickets to him, and he politely told us we could leave now so he could call all of his friends and brag to them that he got the tickets. So, and that's just one family. We had multiple families, and we have some thank you cards that were sent to the department, just to touch on them a little bit so you guys are aware of how thankful the residents were. Words cannot express the gratitude we have for the unexpected gifts and the gift cards for our entire family. The thought, money, and time that went into each gift means so much to us, and the squeals and excitement of, oh my gosh, was all we needed to see and hear. So this goes on and on. It's a very long note thanking. We have another one. Thank you to the Hampton Police Department and social workers for constantly helping, making our Christmas something special. This is something that I kept trying to figure out a way that we could really focus on the families that I knew were in need. We do presents from police, and we do other Christmas holiday events throughout the year, but nothing was individualized, and we're an individualized service to Hampton, and I felt the need that we had to focus on those families. So it came through very well. And within that, the presents from police, Ashley, there's also thank you cards thanking.
Yeah, this one says, I want to personally thank you for sharing your day with the students at Sunrise School, which is where we deliver the presents to. The kids and staff look forward to this day every year. The smiles alone on everyone's face make it all worthwhile. Every little good thing you do makes a huge difference in someone's world.
So we wanted to share those because you don't get to see the end result often, and we hear every day of how thankful those families are. So I hope that we can do something similar next year for them. But it was well worth it. So some other things throughout the year, we were able to hold some educational meetings, specifically on the topics of stranger danger and community safety when it comes to Megan's Law. We had some situations where residents wanted more education on Megan's Law. I am not specialized in that, so I did bring in somebody that I work with frequently. Her name is Dr. Leet, and she does specialize. She has a private practice for sex offenders specifically. She was able to come in, educate the community. We had a pretty full room that night, where they were able to ask questions and feel more confident in their community, and they were very thankful for that. So that was great to be able to provide that to the community in a time of need. You can go next one. Wanted to throw up here the Girl Scouts. They ask us often to come and speak. We went to this Girl Scout troop, talked about different types of social workers, what we do, where you can find them, whether it's the police department, hospitals, schools. They had lots of questions.
They were very knowledgeable.
Yes, they were. For that age group, I was very impressed. So Sarah, Officer Hoffman, usually attends the Girl Scout meetings with us, and we did a little craft with them. All they wanted to do was wear my bulletproof vest, so that was the highlight of the night. So they did get to try that on, although they couldn't move too far with it because it was too heavy for them. But yeah.
Okay. These are some collaborations that we were able to build from this year alone. This doesn't include all the ones previous.
Yeah.
We met with the owner of Yellow Bridges, which is a speech and sensory development practice. She's local to Hampton, so that was cool. Psychological Associates and Sage Wellness are also local agencies that we sort of had been referring out some people to them, and then got some calls from them saying, you know, hey, let's link up and meet each other. So that was really cool. We like to keep our referrals as local as we can for the residents because it's, you know, travel makes it easier for them. We made a connection with the Deer Lakes Partial Program, which is through the school. So that's a partial IOP for kids. The DA's office, and then every month we meet and sort of debrief with county and local other police social workers all over the state to just kind of pick each other's brains and, you know, talk about cases and how they're doing things, compare how we're doing things, get ideas.
Different trainings, and
Yeah.
specifically to specify on that, you know, back in 2020, it was just me and one other social worker from the city of Lancaster. It has now grown. The Pittsburgh police have their own city police social workers. The county has their own through the Department of Human Services. And then there's also police social workers within the mental health and substance abuse courts with Steven Zappala in the DA's office. So all of those social workers now come together, and we're able to bounce ideas off of each other, even though we all do things very differently. But we're able to come back at the end of the day and help make improvements with each other's foundations. So that's pretty cool that it's finally gotten to the point where we all recognize each other and support each other.
Yeah, and then we were fortunate enough to be included in the quarterly substance abuse task force meetings that occur with Rob McCurry. So those are virtual usually, and he'll just include us and kind of go over.
Yeah, different local
more
resources
Yeah.
for substance use and abuse, different ways to provide education and knowledge to the community, so like Narcan administration, stuff like that. He's very active in that, and there's a good group of individuals that attend that meeting regularly that all come together and volunteer their time for different resources throughout the neighboring communities. So he asked us to be a part of that, I think, last year. He was here at a council meeting when we first met him, and then we've been attending those ever since.
And then we frequently work with and refer to Wesley Family Services, which is an in-home agency for family-based therapy. And the one we forgot to put on was also Southwood Psychiatric, and that one's specifically for kiddos. So we've built really good relationships with a lot of the family-based caseworkers through those two agencies. So now when we have people and families that are struggling, we know who we can kind of reach out to for assistance with them.
Okay, this is something I really wanted to talk about. So within our collaborations, I mentioned, you know, EMS, the police department, the magistrate, but one of the biggest ones is code enforcement. And we have been able to develop a very successful collaboration with both Al and Amanda, and this one is one of the most successful projects. I was able to write a grant for the Allegheny County Whole Home Repairs Program for this resident, and she was accepted and approved, and they have renovated her house entirely on the exterior and interior. So this was somebody who has had a pretty rough few years and did not have the financial means to do anything. And now she We walked through it the other day, Maria and I was almost in tears. It's beautiful. So a new roof, new siding, new cement work, all new floors, ceilings. She didn't have heat throughout her certain rooms in her house, so they ran all that duct work, new windows, all new kitchen cabinets, everything. I did not post pictures of the inside just for privacy, but they completely did it in 2 weeks. I don't know how that's possible, but and that is due to the patience of Al and Amanda and being able to trust us and work through our process. So we communicate frequently, work through it. We did many walkthroughs together, and with all of that, we were able to get that grant, and that's huge. So we did apply that grant. I actually submitted 2 other applications for that for other residents within Hampton Township, and she was the only one that was chosen. But it was huge. So, and the difference, all the officers keep saying to me, I can't believe when I drive past the house, I don't recognize it. I mean, from top to bottom, it's all completely renovated, so it's awesome. So I wanted to just show that picture. Trainings provided. So this year, so far, I did present at the EMS conference with some of the EMTs. That was pretty cool to be able to do that. We were able to share on our experience of collaborating together and how police social work and the EMS service can work together. So that's pretty neat. It's very new, and not every police department houses an EMT service too, so the collaboration isn't as tight at other police departments as it is here, but it works really well here. We have a pretty good system down for that. We also presented the local government academy. That was a neat experience to be able to share with all the new council members. So, oh yeah. Sorry, my slides are out of order. I'll let Ashley talk and I'll come back to trainings.
Here's the next one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So these are trainings we received over the course of the year, so things that we went to and were included in, whether it was in person or virtual. And these are super important to us because I think in the nature of our work, we're constantly thinking on our feet. So having some of these tools in our toolbox are helpful. I don't know, give me a list of them.
I think they're pretty but we do try to focus on not only attending trainings for social work educational purposes, but also law enforcement. And in return, officers come with us frequently to our trainings as well. So it's extremely beneficial for us to be able to train together and understand each of our jobs and duties and be able to work together successfully. So I think almost all of those up there, all of them were a collaboration between police officers and social workers. So the expansion, which is my favorite slide because it is growing and it's awesome. So I try to put it in order. Clearly here it started at Hampton, went to Millville, Sharpsburg, O'Hara, Baldwin, and Ross. That top line all have full-time police social workers hired at the department. Then on the bottom row, all the ones with the asterisks are the ones that are currently either writing grants or in the hiring process to implement the position. So it has grown. So by this time next year, it will be 2 full lines of hired police social workers. Hopefully more. As they continue to expand, then those police social workers ideally would be able to start with their neighboring departments. So it's pretty cool to see that up there. I think Ross they currently have 1 full-time one. They're in the process of hiring 2 additional ones. So it's also showing the need of having the benefit of an Ashley to help maintain the caseload as it grows. And the goals, so this is where I was thinking of the training, but these are all the conferences or the proposals that I have submitted to present or attend different conferences throughout this year. So these are my personal goals to be able to train and receive training and education on police social work. And it's pretty neat to see it grow throughout the different counties and states. There is specifically presenting at the second bullet down at the social worker and law enforcement conference. That is specifically a police social work conference. This will be the third year that they've been holding it. I've attended all of them so far. But this year I was asked to present at it and my proposal was approved. So I will be doing that in May alongside Ashley. And we will have a panel of the police social workers that will be able to do a little Q&A after a presentation for the different members of the audience. So they're all police social workers, police officers, different mental health agencies that attend this conference. So it's pretty cool to be able to be in one room and see how it works effectively within all the different cities, boroughs, townships. And I also submitted proposals for additional trainings, the International Chief of Police Conference. There's another social work and law enforcement symposium that I attend. That one's virtually. And then we were also asked to help at the local police academy to put together some ideas for CIT training finally. So that has been something that I have been hounding them for the past 3 years. So hopefully within the next year they'll have a new curriculum put together for crisis intervention training for both social workers and police officers. So all the police social workers and a couple of the officers will be attending a meeting actually next week to discuss the training curriculum for that. And finally, okay, just kidding. So I'm gonna have Maria come up and talk a little bit about her internship and what she's been focusing on here.
So my name is Maria Sheeran, and I'm a graduate student at the University of Denver's Graduate School of Social Work. I'm really honored to be able to speak to all of you today about my experience here at the Hampton Township Police Department, and even more honored to have been a part of this great group of people. Angela and I still laugh about how I stumbled into this internship. My school allowed me to put together a proposal of a location that I would like to intern at. So I started researching and I stumbled across an article on Angela, and I kept finding more and more articles about her. So naturally I Googled her, and it was pretty evident to me the impact that she has made on this community and subsequently neighboring communities throughout Allegheny County. So of course I immediately went to the Hampton website where she has her profile of the different services that are provided, and I said, that's where I want to go, so here I am. Professionally, while pursuing my graduate degree, it was really important to me that I found a role that provided me the necessary experience and opportunities in order to excel within this field. On a personal level, I have the utmost respect for law enforcement and their dedication to the communities that they serve. My husband is an officer at a neighboring department, so I undoubtedly recognize how impactful this collaboration can be between law enforcement and social workers. So I started my internship back in August of 2023, and from the moment I started, I had the privilege to get to know community members on a very personal level. I have found that community members are generally very willing to interact with the department, and I believe that can be attributed to the great rapport that Ashley and Angela have built within the community. It was truly a hit the ground running experience, and at times I felt incredibly intimidated and exhausted, yet always fulfilled and very excited to come here every day. Throughout my time in this program, I have been a part of addressing a myriad of differing experiences of community members. So just to provide some examples, I have assisted with individuals experiencing hoarding and the detrimental effects that go alongside with this issue. Specifically, we assisted one resident with financial needs and resources to address the hoarding and unsafe livable conditions, as well as address this individual's deteriorating physical and mental health. Oftentimes, individuals in these circumstances are completely cut off by family members due to their hoarding, leading them to be even more isolated and vulnerable. This particular case is probably one that has had the most impact on me, just because of how devastating hoarding can be on an individual's livelihood. That being said, the relationship that we have been able to form with this particular resident has been an incredibly rewarding experience and a testament to how dedicated this department is to improving the quality of life of its residents. Another social issue that I have assisted with is homelessness or home displacement. There have been a few individuals that I have worked with within this capacity, ranging from adolescence to adulthood. In these instances, we will set individuals up with resources and provide the necessary support needed, whether it's through short-term therapeutic interventions, connecting them to a higher level of care needed, or just periodically checking in with them to show them our support. Alongside homelessness, we are often seeing prevalent mental health disorders or substance use disorders. And understanding the unique needs of each individual experiencing this situation is crucial to connect them with the necessary resources and support that best fits their needs. Lastly, a large part of the population that we work with is actually the teenage demographic. This demographic is really much more vulnerable than I think that people are initially aware of. Not only are they facing normal pressures that you and I likely all face as children and adolescents, but the issues are really amplified through social media use. Instances of bullying are again amplified through social media use. Bullying can take on extreme levels with apps like Snapchat and the ability to say or send inappropriate messages and images that spread like wildfire. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the incredible relationship that Angela and Ashley have created with the school system. The close relationship has allowed the program to be as effective and impactful as it is today. I have had the opportunity to be welcomed into that circle as well, assisting with issues related to truancy, providing individual tailored therapeutic services, or just creating a safe space for individuals to complete their homework. One particular adolescent that we have been working with for quite some time has a very difficult home life and concurrently is facing pretty substantial issues of bullying at school. We have had the opportunity to assist this individual with obtaining a driver's permit, providing a safe space to discuss issues at home, allowing the space to decompress with constant bullying, and learn coping skills to better interact in these circumstances, and allowing a space to complete homework for better educational attainment. The varying difficulties experienced at this particular life stage make it difficult to navigate and often requires a multidisciplinary approach to set individuals up for success. This is of course just one prime example of the relationship with the school system and how important it is for this program to be so effective. This is just scratching the surface on the varying instances that we have provided therapeutic and social services to individuals within this community. Oftentimes in many of these life circumstances, such as significant mental health disorders or homelessness, individuals are strictly in survival mode, and it often feels insurmountable for them to find the resources available. And oftentimes they are not even certain of what resources they may need or what resources are out there. So this position is truly a necessary addition for the betterment of our communities. It's been very clear to me with my time here that the department, both law enforcement and social workers, are meeting those needs of the community through their collaboration efforts. It's definitely very bittersweet that my time here is up in just a couple of short months, but it's been an incredible experience, and I just want to thank all of you for allowing this program to be a part of this community and allowing me to gain some truly valuable experience. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Maria. Maria she's been great, and it was really neat to be able to collaborate with another university. Both Ashley and I graduated from Slippery Rock University, and that's where the string of interns started, but for an online program to stumble across us and be able to send interns, that's awesome. And Maria has been great, so it will be really sad to see her go. We definitely appreciated her time here. And I just wanted to throw in, I have to embarrass Chief a little bit because not only Chief and I, but also Amanda, one of the EMTs, and Eric, we were all featured as 2023 Health Heroes in a local photographers campaign to spread awareness of different first responders and their career paths. So I had to throw up some of our pictures from our photo shoot. But it is really cool. You can go to the next slide, or next one. Oh no, it's not on there. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll send it to your emails. they took the opportunity to spread awareness of the collaboration between police officers and social workers. So I must have added that before I sent it to you, Amanda. But
Yeah.
it's in there. But it was neat because it wasn't just us, but it was different staff members within the Township of Hampton that were recognized. So that's pretty cool. And this photographer is known for it. And I think in this magazine alone, I think there's like 50-something different health hero different health heroes that she features. So it was a really cool experience. Chief didn't want his face in the photos, but he did good. So
It's a good pick.
Yeah, there's a post to this. Take it
Yes.
down.
Yeah.
Show it.
Angela, I allowed Tom to edit the presentation before it was before council.
Yes,
I
it
want to
is
see
in the
those pictures
slides.
when I come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, it was cool though. And she's continued to do it, so it's pretty neat to see all of the awareness that she brings for different types of first responders that aren't so much recognized as others. So it was neat. So, but does anybody have any questions about 2023?
It's a big recap.
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say that I am in awe of how much you have expanded this program. It's obvious that there's a great need for it here in Hampton with your dramatically increased caseload, but also to see the influence that you're having on some of our surrounding communities. I mean, it is unfortunate that there is a need for this, but it is wonderful to see you all taking care of individuals who before might not have had this help. So thank you to all of you for the efforts that you put into this.
Well, thank you for the support, because without the support from you guys, we wouldn't be able to thrive the way we do. So I appreciate all of you.
I don't have a question. Can I say, as a resident,
Yes.
thank you?
Aw,
Because I
thank
think,
you.
I mean, not just, it sounds horrible, I think the last time I had a meeting is when this process was starting.
Okay.
I don't know what I was
Yeah.
thinking. And to see the numbers is like crazy to me. And I know, like, I saw my kid in elementary school, and I think COVID really, I know we're past COVID, but COVID really
Still
did
has
a
effect,
number.
yeah.
And like, our principal, like, and I know this isn't like the school area, but like, from like school, like, our principal had a meeting with with our fourth grade parents, because like, they're doing like sort of okay educationally, but their social is like way off balance, and like, they don't know how to interact with people, and it's hard. And like, and even on like the homelessness, and I know people always say with Hampton, you hear Hampton, right? People think like everyone has money, and you sometimes don't realize that not everyone in Hampton has money. And like at Wyland, that's where elementary school we go to, like this past year, we actually started a cover with clothes and food, because apparently this year has been a really meaningful year with a lot of people, and I would have never even remotely thought that until it was brought up at like our PTO meeting, that like there's some serious need in people in need. Like and for the need to be so dire, for them to want to start a cover that people can come in anonymously and do that. Like, so thank you for all the work that you're putting in, because I think the same age was really needed.
Thank you.
You
I
for
agree.
creating a cover. That's
So-
awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, I mean, that's how, yeah.
That's
it's-
amazing.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, and social media, I mean, same thing, it's
Yeah.
bad out there.
It is. It's rough. It's a whole different generation.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you, I should say
Well,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for all you're doing.
I appreciate
Thank you for
that.
your support.
Just one additional comment.
Sure.
You have to wonder before this started, where did all of this happen? I'm sure, Chief, some of it fell on your staff's shoulders, but yet not necessarily fully equipped for it. And then how much of it fell through the cracks? I mean, it's just an amazing service, I think. And I don't know how you dealt with it before, with just from the police point of view.
We were a quick patch to a larger problem. And every officer that comes on needs about a year before they realize we can't do what the social workers do. And I've always said we were always missing a fourth first responder, and it was social services. We all collaborate, we all work together, and we all play a role in every crisis that occurs in this township.
Yeah, well, I'm really proud of Hampton
really mean it because they're all social workers.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They're just social workers that have to do a little bit more on the, protecting and following the laws, but they are amazing at being able to provide crisis intervention and de-escalation. They've all been a huge support, so it is truly a collaborative need that we do.
Just one question in regards to that. I know the police and I know that EMS have backup arrangements with other local municipalities and townships. As more and more townships develop this, would that be something that you might collaborate and develop backups with the crisis between social workers?
So we already do. Actually, there was a situation today where Ross Township social worker she was just in a meeting with me for something unrelated, and we got called out to get an individual into mental health treatment, and he was able to come alongside me and help arrange that. So we do. We shadow each other frequently. We make that a priority so that we are there to back each other up, specifically for officer wellness and trauma within the department too. We all check in on each other and make sure that we're all okay to support our departments as well. So yes, we do. That's behind the scenes, I guess. Yeah. Thank you.
So just my quick thoughts would be, Hampton, we are so lucky to have you.
Thank
And
you.
your presentation was comprehensive and thorough and really well put together.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And just, Angela, Ashley, and Maria. I wish in my life I could be as impactful as you guys are in like a month.
I'm not a
So
crier,
it's
but I
really
will
impressive.
cry.
The impact is very
appreciate
impressive.
that.
Thank you.
Legendary story.
You can if you want.
The first call I ever think I made as an intern, I called a resident and they said, "Is this Angela?" And I was like, "No, this is Ashley, the intern." And he said, "Oh, Angela, you're legendary. I've been waiting for you to call me."
He's a little disappointed it wasn't me calling.
So I was like, "Okay, it's just me." Sorry.
Yeah, it's awesome. I say all the time that I'm privileged to be able to work for the Township of Hampton. The support within the officers, the council, the management, everything. It's
lucky.
awesome. So, yeah, I appreciate everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Chief, anything to add to your monthly report?
I actually do. As council is aware, Sergeant Robert Kersop retired this past Friday. And in recognition of every police officer's service, we realize that every day we come to work and we put the uniform on, we realize that we depend on each other for our safety to go home at the end of every day. And out of respect for every officer that retires, we do what is called a last watch call. It is on their last full day of employment where they finally retire and go off to do other things. So on Friday in the morning, we did a last call for Sergeant Kersop for his service and commitment and for his last watch. And I have an audio recording of that we're going to play here momentarily. I want to thank the staff who actually came over at that time to be a part of that. Usually it is just for officers, but the staff, the way they felt about Sergeant Kersop, came over and we were happy to have them. And we're going to play this last watch for Sergeant Kersop's retirement. And we thought we would share it with council and the members of the community who are here tonight to hear it. So if you could play that, please.
Attention all departments. Hampton Township would like to announce that for 25 years of service, Sergeant Robert Kersop is retiring. Over his 25 years of service, Sergeant truly missed by the members of the Hampton Police Department. Known not only as an officer, but the man who was inside the uniform. On behalf of all emergency services personnel, we wish you well, and may you find peace and happiness in your future. Counting off and clear. 10:02.
That was his last watch call, and I wanted council to hear that because I think Rob was a well-respected officer and man in this community and was loved by a lot of people. So, thank you. That's all I have to add to my
Very
report.
well. Okay, thank you. He is very well respected, so thank you for sharing that. Then I guess EMS report. Anything to add?
Eric could not make it tonight. He is going to actually be providing you with the EMS report in the next few days. He had a minor situation arise.
If you don't mind, so I had asked Eric about some information regarding delinquencies, and he was getting back to me. And at 12:03 this morning, I got an email. Hi, Jerry. I just realized I hadn't followed up with you. We were working to get your questions answered right up until one of our crews took me out of my office on a stretcher on Monday to West Penn Hospital, where I remain with my gallbladder. Should have come out yesterday, but today. So, 12 o'clock. He's thinking about us. But yeah, I haven't received an update at how everything went, but I'm sure it was fine.
Well, at least he was in the right place to have a medical emergency.
I sent back a response. I said, well, was that the quickest response to a call that has ever been answered by Shems? I'm waiting.
And is he going to put that into the average?
Yes.
All right, then we will look forward to Eric coming back and walking us through his report. Is there anything else for public safety?
No, I have nothing else.
All right, then. All right, thank you. Community services, then, please.
Good evening. The first item is possible award of contracts regarding the general construction equipment rental, sanitary cleaning equipment rental, and then the construction tradesman bid award. Bids were opened on March 21st. Mr. Degnan, Mr. Young, and myself were present for the bid opening. We received 4 total bids for all 3 programs there, and all 3 of us are recommending the award of contracts to Easy Excavating and DRB Construction for the general construction equipment rentals. They both have different equipments, and we use them for different types of projects. And the second one for the sanitary cleaning equipment, 1 bid was received from Robinson Pipe Cleaning. We use them in emergency situations, so we request that award as well. And last is the construction tradesman program. There was 1 bid received from Diltz Enterprises, and Mr. Young has worked with them in the past and would recommend the award of that contract. If anybody has any questions, more than happy to answer.
All right, doesn't seem like it. So then can I get a motion to award contracts for the 2024 construction equipment rental and construction tradesman program to the following? For general construction equipment rental to Easy Excavating and DRB Construction, for sanitary cleaning equipment rental to Robinson Pipe Cleaning, and for construction tradesman program to Deltz Enterprises?
Diltz, yes.
For the assistant managers, okay, thank you. For the assistant manager's recommendation and memo dated March 22, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Sholey,
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch,
Favor.
Mr. Midgley,
Favor.
Dr. Johnson.
Favor.
Thank you.
All right, next item, please.
Yes, we're seeking authorization to advertise bids for the second phase of the community trail lighting, which is the lighting of the trail from roughly the end of the parking lot at the community center, around the soccer fields, and behind the community center up to the pavilion. We have budgeted for 2024 $125,000 for this project. Bids would be due April 22nd, and we would have a recommendation at the regular meeting on April 24th.
All right, does anyone have any questions? Then can I get a motion to authorize for the advertisement for bids for the Community Park Trail Project Phase 2 conduit and lighting per the Township Manager's memo dated March 7th, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Fritsch?
Favor.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Sholey?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor. All right, next item, please.
Yes, so in the past, to provide custodial services at the community center, we've used temporary and part-time staff. It's been difficult. It's been difficult finding people for this service. There's been a lot of turnover in it. One of the things that was included in the budget for 2024 was $50,000 to contract this service out. J.R. Young, our Director of Facilities, got a proposal from JanPro, who currently does the service here at the municipal building, and the general around this area. I can attest they do very good work. The proposal before you tonight is a monthly fee of $3,350.50, beginning in April and running to the end of the year. That'd be roughly a little over $30,000. There would be some after hours and Sunday charges, which JR was able to get. It would be about $31.50 per hour. If you would assume we would have the same number of after hours and Sunday events as we had last year at that time, it'd be about another $2,700. So we would be awarding this tonight. And JR, you're here. If there's any questions on the specifics of this service and this bid, I'd open the floor, and JR and myself will be able to answer.
Anyone have any questions?
Is that for this year? What about next year? Like, how long is it?
Yeah.
Is it a 3-year or a 1 year?
We would continue the service for next year too.
Okay.
So we would have to get a yearly contract for that.
It's annual.
And proposal, annual, yes, correct. Same thing for municipal building fights in the police station, that would renew too.
Which we use them for now. That
Correct.
same company.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's in the budget, Jerry? 50 for this year.
So yeah, I recommend award to JanPro.
I'm not.
Not you. I'm giving.
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yes. It's in the budget.
Yes.
I think the audio cut out, definitely for me, possibly for Alfie, when Dan asked Jerry if the funds were in the budget.
Yes.
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 I heard the question. I didn't hear the answer.
The simple answer is yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? All right, then can I get a motion to award the contract for custodial services at the community center to JanPro per the recommendations from the manager, Parks and Recreation Programs Administrator, and the Director of Facilities?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Sholey?
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor. Next item?
Yeah, so the next item is reallocation of $20,000 that was budgeted for the community park gazebo to renovating the restroom and concession stand at the soccer complex. You all got my email last night sort of on the totality of this project. Before we get into the financials, though, I really want JR, who diligently was soliciting quotes from multiple vendors on it, to kind of give you a rundown. So, JR.
Yeah, within the past month, when the intent with this is to, again, like Ryan said, reallocate the funds to the soccer complex, the restrooms mainly. Excuse me. What that entails is new fixtures, toilets, sinks, mirrors, dispensers, partitions. So really to freshen it up, we first began with DCS painting the inside, which the paint was purchased, and then the plan was to also paint the outside. DCS's plan is to do that as well. So with that led into some of the inside stuff as we found out that things are just kind of old and needed freshened up. One of the main things on here is the roof repair, which is right around 53, 59. That's the repair of the metal roof on the building. There's some few leaks, one substantial that runs into the concession / ladies' restroom. So there's metal, the roof is metal, so there's metal work that needs to be performed on that. One other thing too that we decided was to replace the water fountains outside. One being just the regular style like it is now, but the other one going to a water bottle filling station, just because it's right off the new trail, and that should really benefit people walking and running by. So, also included was exterior floodlights. The one is broken. The door keeps on opening up, so we're going to LED on those, as well as going LED inside lights as well. So I'll leave to questions.
The only question that I had is we were planning to reallocate $20,000 from the gazebo project to this, but I believe the estimate was around $30,000 for all of the items.
Yes, it's about 31,000, and Jerry, I know you had some thoughts on it that you sent to me via email on the sources of funding. The one thing I would say, I mean, if you listen to what JR is saying, this work really isn't cosmetic. It's really a state of good repair issue in that building as much as anything. We have the option, the Memorial Park benches, that's another project in the same program, the recreation program of the Capital Improvement Fund. There's $15,000 budgeted in that. One of the suggestions that members of staff have had is to look at getting that funded from outside sources. So that would free up about $15,000 for this project. And Jerry, I don't know if, I mean, I'll defer to you if you have any thoughts on it, but I understand, it's $11,000 more than what we have in the budget now. I think there's areas, like I said, with memorial benches, but I further think that just the facility itself really needs the attention, if you want my honest opinion. Go ahead, Jerry.
My suggestion, the painting and the lights really are, the interior paint's already been purchased. It went into the operating fund just for maintenance of facilities in the park. And I would suggest those three line items, the painting, interior paint, exterior, the lights, that's about $2,000. That should still go into the operating budget for maintenance of facilities. The remainder, you can go whatever direction you want with the benches. Within the capital budget, we were substantially under budgeted in interest income. We have already exceeded more than $9,000 over budget in interest income. So I would say, and that's going to continue to grow throughout the year until we hit our major expenditures with road paving and Clearview Bridge. So that will build, and my belief is that provides you plenty of room for your additional overage on taking care of the soccer facility. But if you want to pursue the park benches, you can do that. If you can find some other way to be able to do that, we can do that and have the other monies available to apply to other projects.
So just real quick, I got a question. In prioritization, because that's what we're starting to do here, we're now trying to spend the same dollar twice a little bit. If you're looking at refurbishing the soccer field versus the benches, what takes priority? I know we want to get it all done, but at some point we have to pick and choose. So if you're not able to get outside funding for it, or the interest rates change or something along those lines, can the park benches be pushed off till next year? Are they safety hazards? Just kind of explain to us what, in your view, what's your prioritization on this?
As far as the park benches, the Hampton Community Association is going to be meeting, it's my understanding, in April. I was going to approach them to see if they would be willing to fund the benches. They do have money in their account, so see if they'd be willing to fund that.
I mean,
So,
Currently, there are no these park benches don't exist yet.
no, these are the
Oh,
ones
okay.
that would be up by the community center and around the fire pits. So there's only those few that Melanie's looking to purchase. So we were going to approach the Hampton Community Association and see if they would be willing to reimburse the township for the purchase.
Well, priority-wise, the facility needs to be taken care
Well,
of.
yeah, I would agree
Yeah,
with that.
yeah, that's
It's already here and
Yeah.
it needs help. Yeah.
Definitely. All right, so then this evening, are we only approving the reallocation of the 20,000 funding from the gazebo to this project, or are we approving the $31,000 expenditure for all of the improvements outlined in the email?
Both. Yeah. You're approving the reallocation of the money, and then you'd be approving expenses up to $31,000 out of the capital improvement fund.
Okay, I'm assuming that's going to need to be two different motions.
It can be, just for the sake of, clarity.
All right, then if there are no further questions, can I get a motion to approve the reallocation of funding from the capital improvement budget from the gazebo project to the soccer restroom and concession stand renovation project per the recommendation of the manager and the director of facilities recommendation?
So moved.
second.
Roll call.
Mr. Sholey,
I'm going to abstain from this due to my involvement with the soccer club.
Ms. Fritsch,
Favor.
Mr. Midgley,
Favor.
Dr. Johnson.
Favor. All right, and then can I also get a motion to approve the expenditures up to $31,000 from the capital improvement budget for the items as outlined in the emails from our director of facilities?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Fritsch,
Favor.
Mr. Midgley,
Favor.
Mr. Sholey,
Abstain.
Dr. Johnson.
Favor. All right, item E.
I have nothing else unless you have questions.
Does not appear so. So moving on to environmental services, please.
Thank you. This evening, we're recommending the approval of the change orders for the Hampton Township Water Pollution Control Plant reconstruction project. If you recall, there was 5 specific change orders that were discussed at our last meeting, and we're requesting that all 5, looking for approval for all 5 change orders.
Does anyone have any questions about any of these 5 change orders? All right, and then can I get a motion to approve the following change orders for the wastewater treatment plant construction project? Change order 3 for the underground power to relocate the modular garage, 5 for installation of the roof access panels, 6 for installation of lock facade, 9 to relocate and deepen the storm sewer, 7 to relocate and deepen the storm sewer, number 8 related to substitute materials, all in all for a net credit of $1,304.23.
So moved.
So, second.
Roll call.
Mr. Midgley,
Favor.
Mr. Sholey,
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch,
Favor.
Dr. Johnson.
Favor.
Thank you.
Item B.
The next item,
course.
is the manager and I are recommending ratification of the action of the manager to award a contract to Insight Pipe Contracting through the CoStar's Cooperative Purchasing Program for an emergency sewer line repair work on Macaulay Road. The cost will be out of the Sewer Capital Improvement Fund.
And this work
Does
will be
anyone have any
taking place.
questions?
This work will be taking place tomorrow, as per Mr. Degnan's report at
No
the last
pressure.
agenda meeting. So, yeah.
All right, did anyone have any questions? All right, then can I get a motion to ratify the award of the contract to Insight Pipe Contracting through the CoStarz Cooperative Purchasing Program for emergency sewer line work on McCully Road, the cost for which will be paid from the Sewer Capital Improvement Fund?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Shuley,
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch,
Favor.
Mr. Midgley,
Favor.
Dr. Johnson.
Favor. Right.
Thank you.
Anything to add to the monthly report?
I have nothing unless somebody has a question.
All right.
Rob has a reason
Next
for
item,
being here.
please.
No, Bob's next.
I don't need any reason to be here.
Yeah, Rob's a township resident. He can attend whenever he wants.
And I believe Rob's here for our next item.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris provided his monthly or his status report to you guys. I don't have a whole lot to add to it. Things are going well. We are continuing to review change order requests from Neely. Some more agreeable than others, but it's going very well. We're starting to see major pieces of equipment arrive on site and be installed. I think Jim was able to actually climb down inside the headworks
Correct.
a couple weeks ago. I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but yeah, you can see from the pictures that Chris provided, a lot of the process equipment's arriving. The UV building is very nearly complete at this point. We're starting to have conversations about startup of equipment and cutting overflow to the new plant. So far, so good. It looks like that'll probably happen somewhere late summer this year. That'll mark about the 60% complete part of the project. It seems kind of odd to be only that far through the project and we're starting up the new plant. But remember, following that, then we have to demolish the entire old plant, build a new office and garage, and finish some of the other pieces of the project. So it is going very well. Very pleased with where things are. The one thing that Chris, I believe, spoke to you about last month, maybe even at the workshop meeting, is we will be coming back with a request for an increase for our services. I have not had a chance to go through that and get good enough detail to put that in front of you yet. That's why I'm not ready to do it this month. I'll get with Chris and Ryan before then, and Joe, make sure they're comfortable with what we're coming back with before we do that. I would expect that to be next month. So if I need to come back next month, I'm happy to do so. So I'll let these guys decide whether or not that happens. If there are any other questions, I can answer them. We should probably look for a time to get back down there too. Weather's improving, so I don't think we've been down there since January when it was really, really cold. I think you guys did a Saturday, right?
Yeah, I prefer not to have to wear a winter coat and a hat
Right.
and gloves when I'm out there.
But it is, I mean, the weather's changing and it's pretty nice now, so we want to get back down there. There's all sorts of fun stuff to see, so.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to having a chance to show council all of the changes since you've last been to the facility. There has been a lot of changes.
Well, it's daylight before the meetings now, so we're there. Again, get your pleasure how we want to do that, whether we want to do it again before a council meeting, whether we want to do it on a weekend, whatever works out for you guys best to get everybody down there, for as many people as possible, and happy to accommodate it, so.
Thank you.
Rob, just
Thank
real
you.
quick. Just real quick. So could you talk about schedule? I think we're still a little bit ahead of schedule to what we were thinking, and I know there was some concern that Neely may be slowing down and diverting resources to some of their other projects. Excuse me. Are you seeing any of that?
There is some of that happening, for sure, but at this point, they're not, it makes sense to them not to have as many resources on site. They're not doing as much of the cast-in-place concrete work as they were. When they were heavy into the cast-in-place concrete work, there was a small army of people down there. Now that they're doing more of the mechanical installation, equipment installations, a little bit more of a specialized group. I will say, even this past week, when the progress meeting was raining really hard outside, they still had a good crew there working, and we had a full contingent of people from an electrical contractor because everything they were doing was able to be done inside. So
I see no reason for, they're pushing very hard to make sure that that July-ish startup holds. And I mean, to the extent that, we're handling, KLH is handling the SCADA integration responsibilities. They're even pushing us to make sure that our schedule goes right into theirs, coordinates with their schedule, and everything's going to be in place when the time comes. They're working very hard to hold that schedule, and at least as of this past progress meeting, we're still talking July. Now, this batch of change orders you just approved, there are some time extensions in there, so you'll see that kind of reflected in the next status report. I want to say 60 days, so I think our final completion date will push out to September of 2026 as a result. But again, at this point, they're holding their schedule, and actually they made up a ton of time. They were probably Q3, Q4 last year. There was some concern about things slipping. We're having a little bit of an issue, supply issue on the motor control center. It is scheduled to ship on Monday. Last month this time, it was reported that it had shipped, but it was false information from the supplier. So
where's it coming from?
Mexico?
I believe it's Mexico. Yeah.
It's getting across the border. That's the issue.
So they had expected that it would ship, and it didn't, unfortunately. So that's causing a little bit of pause. But we think that we have enough idea of how we can temporary things in to move through startup while we're waiting for the last kind of final pieces to arrive, and they are expected to get there before the July date. So again, everybody's working together to try to make sure we hit that date.
Yeah. Excellent. Appreciate the update.
Sure.
All right, Rob, anything else?
I don't have anything else.
All right, Jim, anything else for environmental services?
I have nothing. I have nothing unless there are questions.
All right, zoning and planning, please.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. I just have two minor applications for review tonight. The first is 3036 McCully Road, simple subdivision. The applicant had a zoning hearing board meeting last night. The zoning hearing board granted their variance request. So at this point, this is pretty well ready to go. I've prepared a motion with conditions of approval that was forwarded to council today. I am recommending approval of this application subject to those conditions.
Does anyone have any questions? All right, then can I get a motion to approve the 3036 McCully Road simple subdivision application 24-01, subject to and contingent upon the conditions outlined in the land use administrator's memo dated today's date?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Fritsch?
Favor.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Shuley?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor.
And the next item is the 3932 Route 8 change of use. This is for the former Route 8 barbecue that's at the intersection of Route 8 and Duncan. Again, there's not a lot that was needed on this site. Anything that was needed, they have worked with us to resolve. I've already been in contact with Kayla of the Brazilian market, who is going to be leasing that space to get her with her steps that she'll need to open and get going in there. So again, as with the last application, I provided a fairly standard set of conditions of approval today to council, and I'm recommending approval of this subject to those conditions.
Does anyone have any questions? All right, then can I get a motion to approve the 3932 Route 8 change of use application 24-02, subject to and contingent upon the conditions outlined in the land use administrator's memo, also dated today?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Midgley?
Favor.
Mr. Shuley?
Favor.
Ms. Fritsch?
Favor.
Dr. Johnson?
Favor.
And that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions, though.
Doesn't seem like there are any. Thank you. Old business.
Just point out the upcoming events, specifically the Community Cleanup Day, which is next Saturday.
Just out of curiosity, how did the egg hunt go?
It was freezing.
Not again.
Again.
Oh.
We had 450 kids signed up for it. There may have been half, like, troopers for everybody who came out. It, unfortunately, because it was so cold, it was a nice event, unfortunately, with the weather, though. But, yeah, freezing.
Weather has just not cooperated with that event for a few years at this point.
Hopefully next year.
Hopefully. But please convey our thanks to everyone who was involved with that event. New business.
Yes, so within the last week, we've received notice from PennDOT and Allegheny County of roads they'll be working on in the township over the next, pretty much from April until November. PennDOT's going to be tarring and chipping, most importantly, McCully between Route 8 and the Indiana Township line, East Hardee's from Route 8 to Middle Road, Wildwood Road extension from Route 8 to Middle Road, and Cedar Ridge Drive from Middle Road to the West Deer Township line. That work will take place between April and the fall. PennDOT usually has to get a contractor under contract, and then we'll start getting more specific notice as to when that work will occur. In addition, PennDOT's going to be doing geotechnical slope repair of Mount Royal Boulevard and Harts Run Road. Harts Run's going to be closed for 7 days in mid-July between Rosanna Drive and about 600 feet east of Rosanna Drive. And then Mount Royal Boulevard's going to be closed for 52 calendar days between Duncan Avenue and Toner Avenue between late June and August. And finally, the county will be doing spot base repair and spot paving along Hemlock Drive between Babcock Boulevard and Sample Road, and along Middle Road between McCully Road and Wagner Road. That work will also be done. Again, we'll get more specifics coming up. So if you were seeking to invest in a helicopter to traverse Hampton Township, 2024 may be your year. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Any other new business?
Zoning hearing board vacancies. Amanda, I don't know if you want to talk about this. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, sure. We are down to 4 members, I believe, on the zoning hearing board. So we definitely need to appoint at least one regular member and ideally another alternate. Just because, we had an issue earlier this year with them not having a meeting because we didn't have a quorum of members that were available to come. So it's been quite a few years. I think 2021 was the last time we sent out for and advertised for resumes. So I think it would be a good time to cast that net again and see what we get back and hopefully get some 2 good people on the board.
Yeah. I mean, this, for anyone who is interested, I would encourage you to apply. This is one of our most important boards. It is a quasi-judicial board. So, yeah, I would encourage anyone with any interest or background in law, real estate, engineering, anything to apply.
Prior to becoming on council, I served on the zoning hearing board, and I tell you, I enjoyed every minute of it. So I highly encourage anybody interested to apply.
Right. Anything else for new business?
I don't have anything if anyone else does.
Does anyone else? All right, and thank you all for attending this evening. We will adjourn the meeting. If someone there could bang the gavel.
So banged.
All right, thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Carolyn and Alfred.